What's up YouTube, Ecstasy here. I've been feeling the urge lately to play some old SNES and PlayStation on my phone. I needed to pick up an external game controller to do this because I absolutely hate the clunky and awkward touch controls for the on-screen buttons. I decided to go with the Pyrus telescoping controller that can be found on Amazon. It didn't cost too much, it was Prime ready, and I like red and black, so I figured why not. So without further ado, here are my thoughts and review on this bad mamma jamma. Inside the box, you get the gamepad itself, a USB cable for charging, and an instruction booklet. Normally I wouldn't care about this, but with this particular gamepad, it's pretty good to have. Okay, so what does it have? Well, it sports 12 action buttons with turbo and auto, typical start and select buttons. Each thumbstick can be pressed in for an action button. It has 4 labeled buttons as X, Y, A, and B, and it also has your standard shoulder buttons L1, L2, R1, and R2. The gamepad's capable of switching between digital and analog inputs and supports Android 3.2 and above, iOS 4.3 and above, and PC. It also supports 12 to 27 centimeter sized devices. So that means you can use your tablet and it doesn't just have to be your Android phone or your iPhone. It uses Bluetooth to connect your devices wirelessly, and it uses a micro USB cable to charge the 350 mAh battery that powers this whole shebang. One of the gamepad's best features, the telescoping ability, has a spring mechanism on the left side for easy and quick device placement or removal, and it has a geared locking mechanism on the right side for device-specific sizes. It also has a fold-out holder for bigger, heavier devices available right there in the middle on the bottom. To turn the device on, simply hold in the home button until the gamepad light illuminates, and then continue to hold it to place it in pairing mode. You'll know it's in pairing mode when it starts to flash a little more rapidly. Pressing the home button when you're paired with the device will switch between the digital and analog input methods. This is indicated by the charge LED, and you will have to refer to the manual in order to tell which one is which. If you press the mode button while connected to an Android device, it'll toggle between the gamepad and the keyboard modes. Be prepared for noisy buttons when you press any of these because they are really loud and clicky. And the buttons are incredibly stiff, requiring a little bit more force than you would normally apply to some gamepads in order for the button to register it's been pressed. This isn't too terrible, but it is worth noting. Connecting to an Android device is pretty easy, but requires putting the device into pairing mode to guarantee a successful connection every time. To do this, simply hold the home button until you're in pairing mode, go to your device's Bluetooth settings, scan for the device, and select the BTC option. To pair it to iOS, you're going to want to hold the Y button while you put it in pairing mode. This will activate the iCade LED, which will allow you to find it in your iPhone or iPad's Bluetooth settings. Battery life is good. The 350 mAh battery seems plenty enough to run the device. It's reported to run 4 to 8 hours by the seller and is found under the Amazon page's product details, which seems to me to be more of a guess than reliable numbers. It's a little further complicated given the fact that it doesn't really have any battery indicator. This means that at any given time using the device, you're going to be in the dark of how much charge is actually left. Okay, so the good. I like the telescoping mechanism. I like being able to use several devices with a game controller. It lets me hand it to my friends so they can use it, or if I want to upgrade my phone or tablet, I don't have to worry about buying a new controller. I also like the feel of the controller in my hands. It's not too big, it's not too small, given that I have longer fingers. If you have smaller or shorter fingers, this may be a bigger issue for you. And now, let's talk about the bad. The noise generated from pressing the silver buttons or some of the main buttons is rather loud and can be kind of annoying. And as we discussed earlier, they're pretty stiff. I don't think that spending $30 on a controller like this and expecting the perfect feel is going to be justified, but I really wish the amount of force didn't require me to run a semi-truck over it just to get a button to register so that I could swing a sword and kill the bad guy. The lack of a battery indicator really bothers me. It could have been a simple 2-colored LED or 2 separate LEDs to let me know that the battery's either fully charged or about to die. That way I don't die or I don't have a terrible gaming experience. And this really kind of leaves you with a sense of mistrust with the device itself, because now you don't ever know if it's about to disconnect on you. The device is also not intuitive at all. I had to look at the instruction manual in order to figure out how to just turn it on. A simple on and off or power button and labeled as such would have gone a long ways here. Pairing it was just as difficult, because if I wanted to pair it to iOS, I had to hold the Y button down while holding the pairing button in the whole process. This took me 10 minutes to figure out after reading the manual. It was kind of frustrating. And I have to say that connecting itself seems a little iffy. I have to put it in pairing mode every time I want to connect it to my Galaxy S8 Plus and select it from my Bluetooth menu on my phone just to get it reconnected. This may be due to Samsung's Galaxy S8 Plus using the new Bluetooth 4.0 standard, but it begs to differ the question, is this gamepad really going to be worth it, since all Bluetooth devices should be heading in this direction anyways? So, overall, unless you plan on playing just emulators, your experience is really going to be hit or miss. This is not due to the gamepad though. It's really due to particular games optimization in Android or iOS. They're just designed for touch controls mostly. The old emulators are the ones that are designed for hardware controls. The addition of the analog and digital mode switching can help this, but take it for what you will. And if you don't mind clunky or noisy buttons or a lack of a battery indicator, the controller is only $26.89. And I think the price is definitely worth the trade-off for it. And given those circumstances, I would recommend this to somebody as a cheap, mediocre controller that could still get the job done. So tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it worth the price? I'll add a link to it in the description if you guys want to buy it. And as always, like the video, dislike the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.